History is full of wars, empires, revolutions, but hidden between the pages of human civilization are events so bizarre they sound completely invented. A military defeated by birds, a city drowned in molasses, an entire crowd dancing for days until people collapsed dead from exhaustion. These stories sound like internet myths, except they actually happened. And the strangest part is, human history is filled with them. Tonight, we uncover real historical events so unbelievable they sound fake. We often imagine history as serious, predictable, logical, but the truth is, human civilization has always been chaotic, sometimes terrifying, sometimes absurd, and sometimes so strange that historians struggle to explain it, because reality is often far stranger than fiction. Australia, 1932. A group of soldiers armed with machine guns prepared for battle. Their enemy, emus, thousands of them. After World War One, many Australian veterans became farmers. But when massive flocks of emus began invading farmland, destroying crops and fences, the government decided to intervene. Military intervention. Soldiers were sent into the wilderness carrying Lewis machine guns. The plan sounded simple: eliminate the birds. Instead, it became one of the most humiliating military operations in modern history. The emus scattered quickly, moved unpredictably, and outran the soldiers repeatedly. Machine guns jammed, ambushes failed, and the birds adapted faster than expected. At some point, soldiers mounted a gun onto a moving truck to chase the emus across rough terrain. The truck nearly crashed. The birds escaped again. After thousands of rounds of ammunition, the emus were still winning. Eventually, the military withdrew, officially defeated by giant flightless birds, and to this day, Australia lost a war against emus. Strasbourg, 1518. One woman walked into the street and began dancing, not celebrating, not performing, dancing uncontrollably for hours, then days. Soon, others joined her, dozens of people dancing without stopping beneath the summer heat. Their feet bled, their bodies collapsed from exhaustion, but they kept dancing. Within weeks, hundreds were affected. Some reportedly died from heart attacks, strokes, or sheer exhaustion, but nobody understood why. Priests believed it was demonic possession. Others believed the dancers had been cursed. Authorities made the situation worse, believing the victims needed to dance it out. They hired musicians and opened public halls. The plague spread further. Historians still debate what caused it: mass hysteria, psychological stress, poisoned grain. Nobody truly knows. But for one horrifying summer, an entire city danced itself towards death. Boston, 1919. A massive steel tank stood silently near the harbor. Inside, over 2 million gallons of molasses. Then suddenly, the tank exploded. Witnesses described a sound like machine gun fire. A dark wave surged through the streets at nearly 35 miles per hour. Buildings shattered. Horses were swept away. People became trapped in thick syrup as the city descended into chaos. The molasses wave reached heights of over 20 feet, and escaping it was nearly impossible because, unlike water, molasses pulls you down. Rescuers struggled to move through the sticky flood. Entire streets became coated in syrup. Even years later, residents claimed Boston still smelled faintly of molasses on hot days. And somehow, this absurd disaster was completely real. Napoleon Bonaparte conquered much of Europe. He defeated powerful armies, outmaneuvered empires, and became one of history's most feared military leaders. Then he was attacked by rabbits. According to historical accounts, Napoleon organized a rabbit hunt for entertainment. Thousands of rabbits were released into a field for the event. But something went terribly wrong. Instead of running away, the rabbits charged directly toward him. Hundreds of them, possibly thousands, swarming his legs, climbing over each other, rushing his entourage. The hunters panicked. Napoleon reportedly retreated to his carriage as the rabbit horde continued advancing. Historians believe the rabbits had been domesticated rather than wild, meaning instead of seeing humans as predators, they associate them with food, which somehow makes the story even funnier. One of the greatest military commanders in human history, forced into retreat by rabbits. There was once a man who survived a shipwreck, multiple car crashes, a train accident, a plane crash, and being struck by lightning 7 separate times. His name was Roy Sullivan, a park ranger in the United States, and many believed he was cursed. Lightning struck him so often, co-workers reportedly avoided standing near him during storms. At one point, a bolt of lightning set his hair on fire, another damaged his shoulder, another struck while he sat inside a truck. Scientists still consider his case nearly impossible. The odds are beyond comprehension, yet somehow it kept happening again and again and again. Perhaps the strangest thing about history is not how different people were from us, it is how familiar they still seem. They panicked, made terrible decisions, believed strange things, created chaos, and occasionally lost wars against birds. History is not a straight line of logic and progress. It is unpredictable, absurd, human, and maybe that is why these stories fascinate us so much, because they remind us that civilization has always balanced between brilliance and complete madness. Somewhere in the future, people may look back at our own time the same way, confused, amused, unable to believe any of this actually happened, and honestly, they probably won't be wrong. Let me know what you're thinking